Hi everyone, today we're bringing the garden inside. I've had lots of questions lately from those of you who are cold, snowy, winter, can't get outside to garden, but still want to grow veggies. Just so you know, you can still grow veggies in the wintertime right in the comfort of your kitchen windowsill. And today we're going to talk about how to grow sprouts. Now, sprouts are so easy to grow. Literally, I think the easiest thing you can grow indoors. They're super tasty, super nutrient dense, very inexpensive to get started. We're going to break it down and make it super easy for you. But before we do that, I did want to give you a little tour of my windowsill garden here. So even though we can grow something all year round outside here in Southern California, I always like to have a little something growing on my windowsill because it's just so much fun to see a touch of the garden inside. So a couple things I always like to grow are microgreens. It's just super convenient to snip off a little bit, throw it in a soup or a salad, and also some salad greens. I just started these salad greens, I don't know, maybe a week or so ago, and it's just so convenient to snip off some lettuce for a lunchtime salad, and you've got your garden. So just because you are inside for the wintertime, can't grow outside, don't let that stop you from growing veggies. Just grow some inside. And there's Mac. I think he wants to come inside and help me with the video. Well, first of all, what are sprouts? Now, sprouts are very similar to microgreens. And I know a lot of you are growing microgreens. We did a video on that not too long ago. They're both tiny greens that are harvested at the very early stages of growth. They're not grown to full maturity. The magic of both of these guys is that you can be harvesting and eating them in just about a week. I mean, that is amazing. So the difference between the two is microgreens are grown in soil, use soil to germinate, and sprouts use water to germinate. That's one thing that makes them so easy. No muss, no fuss. They're perfect for indoor gardening. So the first thing you're going to need to grow your sprouts are some seeds. Now, check your seed collection. You can use any easy to germinate seeds, and I'll go over some fun varieties in a moment. But before I do that, I wanted to announce that on this video, we're going to be doing a giveaway. 3 lucky winners will win one of my microgreens seed collections, which you can also use for sprouting. And here's how you enter. Watch the video and comment below about something you learned, and you'll be entered in the drawing. It's as easy as that. Now, the drawing is open to US residents only, and I will be choosing a winner using the YouTube random comment picker on Monday, December 3rd on my live stream at noon Pacific time. So make sure you come back to watch that live stream. Good luck, and I hope you win. Now, like I mentioned, you can use any easy to germinate seeds for sprouting. But to take the guesswork out of it, I've got 9 varieties here in my microgreens seed collection. So let me just pull these out and I'll go through the varieties that I love to grow sprouts or microgreens with. We have broccoli seeds in here. These are all easy to germinate seeds, super tasty and zippy. We have the cabbage. Oh, these are so pretty because the stems are kind of reddish pinkish. This is the Red Express cabbage. Grows very quickly. Collard greens, chard. These are really pretty sprouting or microgreen seed as well. We have the beets, which are a lot of fun. We have the arugula. These grow super fast. And 2 of my favorite, French breakfast radish and the red Russian kale. Now, we have added alfalfa. A lot of you were requesting that from the microgreens, so I added them in just recently. And these are all available on my website, CaliKimGardenHome.com. Oh, and I am running a sale this weekend, 15% off with the code Happy Friday, and the sale will run through Monday, December 3rd at midnight Pacific time. So head over there to my website, pick up some microgreens and sprouting seeds, and let's get started. Now, the next thing you're going to need are some jars. Now, I like to use the canning jars. The half pint size and the pint size work well for us because there's only 2 of us eating sprouts in our family. They're really best eaten fresh, so I like to grow what I can consume within just a couple of days. Now, next you're going to need some lids for your jars. Very important, the lids need to have holes. So a couple different options that I like to use, a couple DIY options, are these small little lids that I made out of the needlepoint plastic sheets like this. Can pick these up at the craft store. So these end up being about 10 cents a piece. Super inexpensive. The other thing I do like to use too and have on hand is some cheesecloth. You can pick up a big piece of cheesecloth at Target for about $3 and then cut it into the sizes that you need for your sprouting jars. The other one that you can use is you can purchase a sprouting lid on Amazon. I think I picked up 6 of these for about $5. So it's good to have a combination of all three types of lids on hand, depending on what size of seed you're growing. So first off, you want to start with a really clean jar. Shouldn't be any specks of dust or food in there because you don't want your sprouts growing bacteria. And then we're going to add our seeds. Now I like to combine different types of seeds from the microgreens kit because it's always fun to have kind of a spicy salad mix, have different flavors going. So today we're going to do a radish kale combination. So you can experiment and see what flavors you like. Now for the little half-pint jar here, I'm going to use about a 1/4 tablespoon of seeds, but don't get too wound up if you get a little bit extra seeds in there. For the pint jars, use a 1/2 tablespoon, and then for the quart jars, you can use a full tablespoon. So we're going to pour our seeds into our jar here, and we're going to cover this with water. Just an inch or so of water in there. And then we're going to soak this overnight. Now the reason why you want to soak your seeds is because remember we're using water to germinate these seeds. So you want your seed shells to be kind of broken down and ready for sprouting. So soaking them overnight really helps soften them up. Now what I like to do is put my lid on at this point, but what I like to do is double up the little DIY lids because sometimes the seeds are really small and tend to run through with just one of these lids. So I've got this one doubled up. Put the lid on, let it sit overnight. Now once it sits overnight in the morning, what I'm going to do is rinse, drain, repeat. That's the fun thing is you only have to remember a few things about sprouting. Rinse, drain, and repeat. So I'm going to drain this into my little bowl here. And then I'm going to take my jar and turn it kind of at an angle here in this bowl so that the water continues to drain out. You don't want your sprouts or your seeds sitting in water because you don't want to encourage mold or anything like that. So I'm going to do this in the morning and then again in the evening. Now, you want to make sure that you stay on top of the rinse, drain, repeat cycle twice a day because you don't want your seeds completely drying out because they need that moisture to germinate. But you also don't want them just sitting in water so they get moldy. So that rinsing really does help clean off your seeds, keep them nice and moist so they grow these beautiful sprouts for you. Now I'm going to set my jar in an area in my kitchen, maybe on my countertop or something that's out of direct sunlight. I wouldn't want to put it here in my windowsill because it might get too hot there, dry out the seeds, which means they won't grow, or they'll just get too hot and fried. So I'll set them here on my counter and then come back in the evening and do my rinse, drain, repeat again. One of the funnest things about sprouts is in just a day or two, you're going to see little tails develop and your jar is going to start filling with nice, tasty, nutritious food. So after about 5 to 7 days, they're going to be ready to harvest, maybe even sooner. So you want to just check your sprouts and make sure that your jar is getting kind of filled up. You don't see a lot of extra seeds in the bottom. That's a clue that they're ready. Once you hit that point, I like to put them in my windowsill for a couple of hours to soak up the sunshine. Really helps green them up, and then they're ready to harvest. So let's break into these babies and see how tasty they are. I just love how pretty they look in the jar, and they're so nice and green. I'm gonna pull these out. Look at those. Aren't those absolutely beautiful? Lovely, tasty, growing your own food, no soil required, and they smell so good too. Oh, they smell like alfalfa sprouts. So those are alfalfa. These here are radish sprouts, and radishes also grow very, very quickly. We pull a couple of these out. So you're really harvesting, there's not much to them. You just pull a few out and throw them on top of a salad, or I like to actually eat them in soup. It's really nice on a rainy day to heat up a big bowl of soup and then just throw some sprouts on it. Now to store your sprouts, I just like to cap the jar I grew them in, stick them in the refrigerator. They're best consumed fresh, most nutrient dense when consumed fresh, so try and eat them within 2 to 3 days, and no need to rinse them while they're in the refrigerator. I am dying to dig into this plate of sprouts here, guys. The radish sprouts are absolutely amazing. What a flavor explosion. You guys are going to absolutely love growing these. So head over to my website, pick up seeds. Remember, 15% off with the code Happy Friday through Monday, December 3rd, and enter the drawing by commenting below about something you learned in this video. We'll do the drawing on Monday's live stream. All right, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out with me here in my indoor garden. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Wow, these are so good. Wow.